Sue, so what about John McCain being there? Do we know precisely what he's doing?
Yes, well, he tells me that he's come really to assess the situation on the ground. It's not the first time he's been in Libya. He was here 18 months ago, but he didn't actually come to Benghazi that time. He came to Tripoli, and he came to talk to Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. This time a very different scenario, a very different situation on the ground here. As you say, he is the most hawkish of the senators in the Armed Services Committee in the States, and he is very much was pushing for action to be taken here by the US weeks before the UN Security Council decided to enforce a no-fly zone here. I caught up with him this morning before he set to work on all the different meetings that he has scheduled here. I was wanting to ask him who he was meeting, but also I was wanting to question him on the many rumours and concerns amongst his own committee members about exactly who makes up the opposition here and whether or not there are any members of more extremist Islamic groups, particularly Al-Qaeda.
Why did you come here to Benghazi?
I just obviously came here to get an on-ground assessment of the situation, and we'll be doing a press thing later on this afternoon.
Okay, and are you meeting the National Council this morning?
Yes, we're meeting with the council, we're meeting with the military, we're meeting with lots of people.
Are you concerned about the people that are actually fighting for the opposition here? Any worries about them?
Fighting for the opposition? They're my heroes.
Of course, McCain was one of the strongest proponents of US intervention. Is this a sign of the United States ramping up their effort, do you think, again?
I think it's a sign that they very much want to know who they are backing here. He very much said that he wanted to get to know the National Council here, to try and get to know the sort of people that are trying to form a government, trying to move towards a democracy. Whether or not it means that the American administration is going to take more of an active role is another question. He's been very specific as to where he draws the line. He's always said no American boots on the ground here. He doesn't want the same situation he has in Afghanistan where American soldiers are dying here. But he has very much wanted to back the anti-government forces, and he backs actually sending in arms to them. Of course, on the other side, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has only just been saying that that isn't the case, that they are going to send equipment, but that equipment is going to be non-lethal. That's kind of boots for soldiers, uniforms, and better communication equipment.
And of course, the United States had pulled back their aircraft commitment, if you like, but it now seems that drones are going to be sent in.
Yes, these drones, I believe, at the moment are not for actual airstrikes, but more for surveillance. They have a much better propensity to be able to take lower shots, to be able to fly much lower, which means they can get a much more detailed picture of where the Gaddafi forces are putting their armoury and their troops. As we know, they're now using pickups much like the anti-government forces to drive around. It's very difficult to differentiate the two sides sometimes. Well, these drones can fly much lower and get a more specific picture. Whether indeed they are eventually used for airstrikes, we don't know at the moment, but that's their role as it stands.
All right, Sue, thanks very much indeed. That's the latest from Libya.